Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of a Nation United Canada edition. The Canadians of Kaiserslautern are back, fresh off of their victory in the Europa League final over Spurs. There will be Champions League football for this Canadian contingent this season. First up, though, the Super Cup against the Champions League winners, Barcelona. I will not be playing that game. We'll just let our team get absolutely spanked. But looking ahead, and with what the squad's looking like this year, it is going to be fairly similar, although I do want to point out we have a decision to make coming up, because Larry Taylor has a higher potential than Justin Cooper. They're the same age, and there's a 6 overall point difference, but we have to make that choice fairly soon as to whether or not we want Cooper to be the guy as he's been, or whether or not we're turning it over to Larry Taylor, which is why Taylor's listed out on loan right now. Larry White also factors into that decision. If Taylor is loaned out, we do have a goalkeeper in the academy that we can call up, but all three of these guys are already at the point where they're going to want to be the number one, and ultimately we have to make that decision. I mean, Cooper's already number one caliber, but Taylor could legitimately be a 90, if not higher. So we have to make that decision. When it comes to the right backs, obviously it's Mathis and it's Brian Clark. And the goal for this year is to get Brian Clark up to that level for him to eventually be the number one, or at least a much more suitable backup. I mean, I'm talking at least 10 overall points this year, hopefully. The center backs, fairly straightforward, all listed as exciting prospects. Left backs, also fairly straightforward. In the midfield, Lucas White, of course, will get a full season. Piet, I don't plan on getting rid of. Olsen, we have loan listed, although I am very well tempted to sell him, but we can't see what his status is, what his potential is, until he's up to a 60. George Clark, not going anywhere, but we do have this logjam of talent here. Now, we know Josh Evans has a really good potential, but I feel like we almost have to choose between Morgan and Moore. At least we're going to have to at some point. I feel like Moore wins that, though. He's younger and better. So Brett Morgan might not be here for that much longer. Of course, Mark Anthony Kay is going nowhere. Davies and Sullivan going nowhere. We do still have to re-sign Sullivan. I tried to, and I offended him. So that's the reason why you're only going to see him with contracts up. I just took care of that off screen. But needless to say, we're going to have better depth this year without having to go out and add anybody transfer-wise. I mean, in terms of who would be out there anyway, not really sure there are that many options. But within the youth academy now, I mean, Harry Williams is there, another strong right mid. Dennis Gibbs might be worth it. Bliska is going to be an absolute monster. So we're looking good. And then Russell Kerr as well. We're looking good by just building from within and having to rely on bringing in like a Brock Gallard again. Like, we know that, through the national team, that there's basically nobody there that we're going to want. In terms of goalkeepers, we're fine. I mean, technically, if we loan out Taylor, we could bring back, Gagnon or Boosty. It'd be kind of fun to bring one of them back as a second choice option, but that's pretty much all they would be, and that's kind of a waste, really. I mean, then again, I don't even know if Boosty would take a lower deal. We might have to rely on someone like Morgan. But you can tell here by the overalls of a lot of these guys, it's just we already have the top options. I mean, James is ours. Wolf isn't ours, but we know that he's not going to get much better than where he is. He's already 23. So we're going to continue that strategy of just building that depth up from within and taking it from there. So there really isn't that much to do with this squad. There really aren't any players that we're trying to sell. There's very few players, if any, that we're trying to loan out. We do know, of course, the one guy is already going to be going out, I believe, to that Turkish club, the duplicate name there. But yeah, aside from that, we're pretty much going to be able to jump right in to this season. We need to hope for the best when it comes to the draw for the Champions League. Again, we talked about that a lot with the Europa League. It was a hell of a lot of luck. We had the easiest path we could have possibly hoped for from the group stage onward. And hopefully we get a similar result this time out and at least have an easy path or an easier path out of the group stage. There's never going to be a truly easy path out of the group stage of the Champions League, but there's an easier approach, of course, that we could take. My God, this loading time right now. EA, please. Please, 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 can you speed it up just a little bit? Thank you very much. The preseason tournament. We'll take part in the easiest one, since money isn't a factor, and that'll potentially help us get a little bit more playing time for a lot of our options, email-wise. So Evans has left on loan, and the Champions Trophy, of course, the preseason tournament, we're not all that concerned about. It's a winnable group stage, but again, not really all that concerned. We get a transfer budget increase, which really doesn't help us outside of just having more money to renegotiate contracts. And we already get a loan offer for Larry Taylor from Bournemouth, and I think we have to take it. We can recall him if need be, but he's going to be upset about his lack of playing time very, very quickly into the run. I mean, that's what happened last season. You know, we had to make the swap in goal because people weren't happy, you know, being the second choice option. Now, Kay wanted to play, so we'll let him play over James, and obviously, here, you know what we'll do is we'll set up a second team sheet because we're going to let a lot of the depth options play through this preseason tournament. That way they get a little bit of time, and we don't have to worry about it. So we'll just go with that second choice. Hopefully it copies the play sheet. It did not. Great. Oh, boy. Fun. Team management. Fun, fun, fun. So we'll cut that out. Can I import my own team sheet, please? Am I allowed to do that? Or am I going to have to set this up the hard way? Hey, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's select it for that. Kaiserslautern default. Kaiserslautern default S. Okay, default. Just let me have the clean. No! Oh, EA. Damn you. Damn you. It's my fault. I get what I did wrong. But you're killing me, man. It shouldn't be this difficult. I want to import this team sheet. Play W. Play W. Damn it. There we go. Let's get the second choices in there. So Taylor will be in. Sullivan. Let's get Clark in there. Cameron. We might as well let... I mean, center back wise, it's actually kind of tough. Can anybody... Yeah, Olsen can play center back. Good luck Taylor playing behind that. But hey, we're going to do what we have to do. Let's get Kay and Piet in there. Let's go Moore and Morgan. White is going to be in, or at least is going to be given the opportunity to play full time. So that's why we're going to have him on the bench here. There's no room for Evans, though. I care about Evans more than I care about Morgan. So, unfortunately, in a situation like this, unless we don't go with Olsen, you know what? Yeah, I guess maybe we'll do something like that. There we go. That works. So that'll be the lineup for the preseason tournament. Pretty much exclusively? Maybe? Do I care about Olsen being in? You know what? I don't. Yeah, screw it. Sorry. Kay, where are you? There you go. So Olsen will be on the bench. He might get playing time. Of course, there's unlimited substitutions, but we're not really all that concerned. Just let these guys play a little bit. That way, hopefully, they don't complain as much throughout the season, because I think, again, we're going to pretty much intentionally kind of sabotage our chances of the DFB Pokal. Like, this is where these guys will be playing for the most part, and we'll see what happens. Although, in fairness, if they can crush a top Mexican club, we might be okay. Cooper with 2 goals, Clark with a goal off the bench. A decent showing there. And we do get a loan offer as well. Bournemouth went in for Taylor. Portsmouth is in for Pierre Olsen. I'll be intrigued to see how good he actually is. Kay, you're welcome, buddy. You've made yourself maybe not a legend for this team, but you've certainly been a crucial part. Like, people will remember you and Piet for stepping in and helping solidify that midfield while we've trained up other options. As you'll see there, we are trying to train up Olsen. In the meantime, if he ends up going out on loan, then cool, and that will be someone else's spot. The wonderful no email, my favorite, as we get a matchup of the Europa League semifinal. It's against Everton in this preseason tournament. They're coming off of a win against Benfica, And we'll see what we can do. We can get absolutely stomped 4-1. Nice. Very, very nice. It's kind of what I was expecting to happen in the first game. Taylor has been loaned out to Bournemouth. So again, we have that decision to make as far as what to do with the goalkeepers and who we stick with full time. Now, again, bringing in somebody like a Boosty could work, as Olsen's also been loaned out. Bringing in someone like a Boosty could be the way to go. You know, if we can secure him, or I think there was Ethan Morgan, the other goalkeeper. My God, it's kill or be killed, apparently. We could bring in Morgan, who was the 76 rated keeper, get him on a contract where he's like, okay, I understand, I'm not going to play. But ultimately, a decision has to be made. We need to figure out just who the star players or the star goalkeeper is ultimately going to be for this team. As we're going to focus on Josh Evans here as well. I want to get the players that we have on this team already up to usable overalls, which I would say is about a 70, and then we'll start focusing on guys in the academy like Bliska and start training them up to make them that much more ready for whenever they ultimately make the squad, as we go to the second round semifinal, call it what you will, against Athletic Club Bilbao. Larry Kerr wants to play. Got an extra 2.3 million, and Larry, you absolutely can play. Why not? You're still going to be our starting striker in the meantime until you prove that you shouldn't be. But you can absolutely play. So let's go ahead and get old Larry into the lineup. Cooper, you've done well, but take a seat, because Larry Kerr is coming to town. He is our striker for the semifinal of this preseason tournament. They beat Real Betis. I know that feeling. I now know the feeling of getting absolutely stomped by Bilbao as well. So we fall in the semifinal. No goals for Kerr. That's unfortunate. But at least some playing time for some of our younger options. Larry, you're welcome. Again, I love it. He's like, thank you. I never get to play. That's not what he said, but that's what he's insinuating. And it's like, man, you get to play all the time. Leverkusen sign Tammy Abraham. Hopefully he doesn't have to take a penalty for you. That's right, Chelsea fans. I went there. Scouting, Clark, not scouting, training. Clark up to a 68, Evans up to a 67. So like I said, once we get them to about a 70 overall, we'll back out of the training options. But like I said, the good thing is goalkeeping-wise, we will be able to sign that guy from the youth academy. And that way we don't have to necessarily run Cooper into the ground, and we'll have somebody who's not upset about sitting on the bench for the majority of the season. We get to avoid that headache as we get some decent improvement for Clark as well. The stamina, the sprint speed, interceptions. Good stuff. What was happening with Barcelona here? Big injury, big injury, big injury. They signed Nordi Mukele. Well, that's good. Nothing like bringing in reinforcements before you play us in the Super Cup. Thanks. I was hoping to have a chance without having to play the game. Apparently that's not going to happen. As we have emails here, that should be the youth, right? Indeed. Scouting reports. Andrew Jackson, the president. Thomas Burns, hello. Center back or right back? With his height, he'll probably be a center back rather than a right back. Do we have anybody else? Hello, Carson Taylor. That could be a left back and right back. That would be a decent little 1-2 punch. Granted, we don't really need a left back or a right back, but that could work out for us long term. As we inch ever so closer, less than 2 weeks away from this spanking, courtesy of Barcelona. But I'm okay with that. Thomas Dillon to Hoffenheim, so we do see some of our direct competition improving. Clark made it up to a 69 overall. Evans up to a 68. So we won't be having to train these guys up for all that much longer, which is nice because, again, you saw Bliska and the other dude that we had there, the midfielder. Sooner we can get them closer to a 60, they'll be ready to sign. And that's, again, only further help when it comes to this team's depth struggles. Although I wouldn't even say the depth struggles. We did okay. I don't know how many of those games we lost last year because we had players that were tired. There were only a couple of instances where we didn't get to field a team with full stamina across the board. And even then, I don't think we lost every single one of those games. I don't know if we won too many, but I know we didn't lose all of them, at least. That brings us to the Super Cup. The UEFA Super Cup against Barcelona. Gagnon wants in, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. So the team that we are looking at... God, who sits? Who stays? Who goes? This is where it gets tough. This is where it gets tough. For who gets to be on the bench. Clark, Sullivan, Cameron. I guess we go with our 3 defenders. But then who's in the midfield? Do we use both Kay and Piet? Even if we don't, we still have one decent player who's going to be in the reserves. We're not going to be able to use everybody. So I think we go with one defensive option. A left wing, a right wing, and a cam. I think that's the way to do it. That way every position's covered. Let's do it. The UEFA Super Cup against Barcelona. Again, we will be simming this game. We are going to more than likely get absolutely decimated. It is the winner of the Champions League against the winner of the Europa League. It is the biggest game, the biggest opponent we've seen, as Timothy Weah scores 7 minutes in. Titty with a red card, though. That could work out for us. But, I mean, their team is just so much better. If we could get a goal, I'd be happy. And even that's looking like it's in doubt. Weah scores again. All right, come on. We're not going to win. Get a goal. You can do it. I believe in you. 10 minutes left. Jonathan David, somebody. Depay scores, and we lose 3-0. Well, I did say to expect it, did I not? But by the middle stages of that game, I was hoping for at least a draw. That didn't happen. It's an extra $3 million in the bank with the appearance, at least, against Barcelona. I don't even know if you could call that a game. I'd be intrigued to see the stats to see how competitive we actually were. It wasn't good. That's all you need to know. It wasn't good. But, again, expected. So, training-wise, Clark, not quite there. Evans, not quite there either. He has attack position and stamina go up. So, again, they will continue to be the focus as we are approaching the closing of the window. And we start off, my God. We get the Super Cup, of course, and then we get to start off the campaign against the defending champions. We play Hoffenheim to open up this Bundesliga season, which kind of scares me. Kind of. I mean, early season, it's always tough to tell how that's going to go. Our objectives this season from the board, the money making, we have no problem. Sign players from the youth academy, we'll see if that happens. Reduced player wages probably won't happen. Again, the youth development I'm not too worried about. But they want us to reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League and finish in a top 4 spot in the Bundesliga. We'll see if that happens. Don't know if it will. But regardless, it's time to begin a new season. We host the champions. Our top squad ready to go. Let's see what we can do here. I mean, in terms of familiar names, there are some. Baumann in goal. Kaderabek as the right back. Davies picks up a yellow card. Can we get the win? Gagnon scores. Rare goal from Peter Gagnon, the captain. You'll love to see it. They miss a penalty. Less than half an hour left. Jonathan David makes it 2. And the defending champions are going to fall to the champions of Europe. I'm sorry. I have to make that pun as much as possible. That is a hell of a way to start off the new campaign. Beating the defending champions in the opening game of the season. There are worse ways to get things started. I mean, hey, we didn't... I wouldn't say we embarrassed ourselves against Barcelona. We didn't have the best showing. Champions League, though. Here we go. Here we go. What are the groups going to be? Maybe not. Clubs to look forward to in the draw. Just tell me when the draw happens, man. That's all I want to know. Who are we going to end up in the group stage with? Again, last year it was a fairly easy group aside from Sevilla. But all in all, still feeling pretty damn good as we take on Leverkusen, the final game before the window closes. Arsenal with an $82 million signing. So we've already had some matches rescheduled. So let's see what we're dealing with here on the day. This is taking forever to load. It makes me think that it might be deciding the Champions League group stage matchups if it's taking this long. Has Saul to Liverpool. Jesus, 119 million. Sriracha. Barcelona involved. Here we go. Was I right? Do we know the group? Do we know the group stage matchups? Why is this taking so long? The suspense is killing me. Please? Today? Please? What's up with this today, man? This is the second loading screen. It's like, good God. All right, that's why. It was also the national team confirmation. That explains it. So we have, let's only carry maybe 3 center backs. So we got 2 left backs, 2 right backs. We're probably going to drop a center back. Tyler Wolff's going to go because obviously I care more about Taylor at this point. Left back wise, Gutierrez will be dropped for Cameron. Again, nepotism perhaps by making sure my players are the ones that are here. But you know what? I am allowed to do that. We have 2 left and 2 right mids. 5 options at CDM and 3 strikers. That's pretty much the perfect setup. Millar, by the way, made it up to a 76. Good for him. Good for him. I think we're looking okay, unless we take out Mathis, which we won't. So there we go. That is... Wait, there was an R. Williams there. Who was that? Who was that? That's the first player I've looked at where I'm like, I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Russell Williams. Okay, the guy that we had before. So he's up to an 80. Clinical finisher, dribbler. 99 dribbling, 99 ball control. 88 finishing. I might have regretted letting go of him. But you know what? The worst case scenario is we have all the money in the world. If we ever decide we want to buy back one of those players, we absolutely can. So I'm not too concerned. But you see already, with the amount of players that we have on this team, we can't play everybody. And again, it kind of sucks to have some of our younger guys have to be reserves. Like, I don't want to have players just sitting there doing nothing, you know? But like I said, goalkeeper-wise, granted, we'd have to re-scout Boosty, Joseph Gagnon's there. I think we're okay, though. You know, worst case scenario, and maybe I'll leave a little bit of time. I don't know. Or maybe if we find out that we're in a bit of trouble in January, we could bring people in. Like I said, there's that tough call. Eric Bliska, 20 and a 69 for Chapecoense. He's the guy that we sold before. I think we're going to be all right. Like, we sold Cunningham before. He's up to a 78. Colin Gibbs we sold. Tyler Evans we sold. Josh Haber was ours at one point. Overall, and Victor Olsen, of course, he's up to an 82. $56 million release clause, which would be nothing for us. But, you know, like, he's never, like, yeah, we could bring back Victor Olsen and have him play over Larry Kerr, but Larry Kerr is going to be better than Victor Olsen in the long term, and that's obviously the commitment that we made, was to our younger options. So I think we're going to be all right. Let's sim this game against Leverkusen. The top unit is out there. Leverkusen fresh off of a win against Stuttgart. We'll see what we can do on the road here. They got some familiar names. Demirabai, Schmolov, Skov, and of course Tammy Abraham up top, who they just picked up. Can we get a win? Can we make it 2 for 2 in the Bundesliga to start this season? So we can occur. He's off for more. Park scores in the 62nd minute. Another goal from another defender, which was a kind of key factor for us last year, and we hold on for the win. We make it 2 for 2, beating Leverkusen and Hoffenheim to start the season. Just 32 more games to go before we're crowned champions, right? I hope. Please. Let that be the case, as that would accomplish one of our 3 goals for this series, which is, of course, success at the domestic level by winning the Bundesliga, of course, then European, and then global are the other 2 goals. The loading times for this have been so bad tonight. But there we go. What are the emails about? Just matches rescheduled. So do we know what the Europa League or what the Champions League draw is? That's the question. Do we know? Show me the money. Handed lucky draw. You don't say. Can I see it by clicking here? I can't. We got to go to tables. Okay. So the draw's out. We're top of the league right now. But we know what the deal is. I kind of wish I played the Super Cup match. Damn you, Barcelona. Let's take a look here. The Champions League. Who's in our group? The game itself said it was lucky. But after winning the Europa League, damn it, we earned this. Give me a good draw. Please, please, please. That's not a good draw. Lucky? What, lucky that it couldn't have been? How is that lucky? Fucking Liverpool and Ajax, and that's a lucky draw? Oh, FIFA, you horrible troll. Oh my god. Liverpool. Oh god. My heart can't take it. And Ajax also. Moscow. That is not an easy group. It isn't. We don't know what Ajax are looking like at this point, though. And obviously at the start of this, they don't have Matthew de Ligt. So we'll see. Group B. Milan, Dortmund, Benfica, and Salzburg. Okay, I suppose I'd rather have to get past Ajax and Liverpool than Milan and Dortmund. Madrid and Leverkusen. Okay, let's see, like Group C. Put me in there instead of Leverkusen. I'm good with finishing in second place behind Madrid. We could totally beat Anderlecht and Zagreb. Totally. PSG, Napoli, Frankfurt, and Lokomotiv Moscow. I don't know if we'd be able to beat Napoli. That's a rough one. Manchester City, Fiorentina, Sevilla, and Spartak Moscow. My God, all the Russian clubs. I don't know how well we do in that group either. That's a tough one to have to outdo either Fiorentina or Sevilla. Group F, Atletico Madrid, Spurs, PSV, and Olympiacos. That's a pretty good, pretty strong group. Group G, Barcelona, Monaco, Hoffenheim, and Fenerbahce. That's a pretty rough one. Juventus, Everton, Lyon, and Shakhtar Donetsk make up Group H. You know, I guess it could have been worse. But still, Liverpool and Ajax are who we have to get past. And just to show you what we're dealing with in terms of the team ratings, of course, we'll look not only at the teams that we're up against in the Champions League, but we'll look in the Bundesliga in general. Liverpool's stacked. Mane, Rashford, Salah, Keita, De Jong, Ginter, Robertson, Van Dijk, Stark, Aarons, and Alisson. Jesus. We're not making it past them. They're winning that group. Absolutely. They're winning that group. And then we have Ajax, who we should possibly be able to beat. It's tough. Andre Onana at the 87 rated, goalkeeper there. That's tough, but that's our competition right there because we're not beating Liverpool. And then the rest of world, CSK or CSKA Moscow, we should be able to beat them too. We should be able to beat them too. So it's a tough group in that, man, we're not making it past Liverpool. There's just no way. But in terms of how we compare in the Bundesliga this season, let's take a look at our ratings first and foremost, as we always do. So we're still a 4.5-star club, but that's pretty damn good. Obviously, our ratings could be a little bit higher if I wasn't starting White and Kerr, but 79, 79, 81, and an 86 in goal. So Leverkusen, who we just beat, we probably shouldn't have. We do have a better defender, a better group of defenders, and a better goalkeeper, so that factors and it kind of cancels out. We are better than Borussia Mönchengladbach in about every way. I mean, the midfield's even. That's it. Leipzig, 1 point difference in offense. They have the advantage in the midfield. We have the big advantage in goalkeeping and the advantage, or the big advantage in defense and the advantage in goalkeeping, even though I forgive you, Loris. I forgive you. Schalke, obviously, competition to us, better than us. Hoffenheim, still technically better. Defense and goalkeeping, it evens out. And I guess with Schalke, too, defense and goalkeeping, it evens out. And that's kind of our strength. That is our strength, so it makes sense. Stuttgart, I'm surprised their defense is as strong as it is. But we have the advantage in the attack. Defense is even in goalkeeping, obviously a huge advantage. Wolfsburg, we have the advantage there, too. So that's kind of the story. We should. Top 6 at minimum. But yeah, we should be able to compete for that top 4 spot this season. I mean, the question is going to be, with a team like Bayern, do they underperform again to the point where they're not even playing European football this season? Like, they're outside of the two main tournaments. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out for us. I'm going to leave a little bit of time. Here before we sim. Let me know what you think. As far as the team is concerned, I'm still good with just sticking with the youth that we have. But let me know if you think there really is a spot, mainly I guess with goalkeeper, where we should perhaps look to bring in a few more options in the reserves. But like I said, as it is, we already have Morgan, Piet, and Evans, who aren't going to be able to be in the lineup as, an option off the bench, because we do have a decent level of depth. And then when you look at the academy right now, Harry Williams, we still don't know for sure, but the guy's a 66 overall. In terms of sure things, I mean, Colin Burns as a, in-between goalkeeper, if we need to sign somebody, he could be the guy. I mean, having to train him up could be risky. But Thomas Mathis is going to be great. Bliska should be great. Russell Kerr is definitely going to be great. I love where this team is right now. We're off to a good start. We have a decent draw. I wouldn't call it a lucky draw in the Champions League. Things are shaping up to be be a pretty damn good season for us, I'd say. Hopefully, in before we get relegated.